The Washington Wizards have finally done something that NBA fans worldwide have been waiting for years. They traded Bradley Beal. The Wizards got to a point where they knew the only way to ensure future success was by trading away one of their best players in franchise history. While many do see Washington as a bit of a trash team with no chance of winning anything meaningful for at least the next few seasons, I'm going to explain why this young team could potentially shock the league, starting with their newly acquired piece, Jordan Poole. After Washington got Chris Paul, he was quickly sent to Golden State for Poole. And there are really only two ways to feel about this trade. Either you think the Wizards got a steal, or you think the Warriors have drastically improved now that they have a point god on their roster. Nonetheless, I think the drama surrounding Poole made everyone forget how great of a basketball player he really is. He completely changed as a player after the whole Draymond Green punch. He never really seemed to be in tune with the Warriors this season. On the court, he played lazily and carelessly. He sort of just reminded me of that one player we've all played with who only played on the team because his parents forced him to. His former teammate Steph Curry said this when asked about the trade between Paul and Poole. "You hate losing JP. I know it's not all the way official yet, so I don't want to talk too much before it is, but that's the tough part of the business, seeing a young guy enter his own and then get traded. It's a great opportunity for him. It's just you get to know someone like that, build a friendship, build a bond, it's tough to see him go. But we're trying to win next year and CP can help us do that." But just how good can Poole be in a Wizards uniform, and what does he bring to the table? The most important thing he's going to bring is dynamic scoring. He averaged 20 points this season, shooting 43% from the field and 33% from three on 7 attempts per game. He's the definition of a three-level scorer. He was the best finisher on the Warriors this season, shooting 67% on 3 shots in the restricted area. And I know, the Warriors don't really drive to the rim at all, but still, the stats are the stats. He was statistically their best finisher. His ability to break you down on the perimeter before speed boosting past you into a floater or layups is incredible. He, without a doubt, is a top 10 dribbler in the NBA. And personally, the only players I would put over him are Kyrie Irving, Steph, James Harden, and Trae Young. The 24-year-old does have some room to improve though. If he can continue to get stronger and more confident driving to the rim, I could see him being a terrific finisher. And real quick, just a little off topic here, but I could very well see him having a career like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. In year 1 with the Clippers, SGA was a good player, just solid at best. But when he went to the Thunder and had his team, his production skyrocketed. I know these are two very different situations, and Poole is a much better player than SGA was when he went to OKC. But my point is, we've seen this time and time again when players go to another organization. They turn into the best versions of themselves. And Poole has that type of skill and talent. He averaged 20 points while sharing the court with Steph, Klay, and Draymond Green. Now, imagine what he's going to do on a team with full offensive control. Another reason I think he's going to have a big year is how things ended in Golden State. From getting punched to getting benched in the playoffs to ultimately getting traded for a player old enough to be his father. Poole's going to be hungrier than ever. And he's going to play with a chip on his shoulder. And don't forget, he's also got a championship. So combine that experience with his hunger, and it's nearly impossible for him to not put on a show when the NBA starts in just a few months. His overall scoring in the mid-range and 3 is solid. As long as he improves his shot selection, he'll be fine. And he has time to build up the skill as a playmaker. But defensively, not gonna lie, he's awful. We know that. And honestly, I have nothing to say that can defend that. But I expect at least a slight improvement on that end of the court for some of the reasons I just mentioned. And he isn't the only reason this team could be on everyone's radar though, because they just drafted 18-year-old Bilal Kolibali with the 7th pick. The 6'6" wing is extremely athletic. He has that smoothness to his game that will translate immediately. And the fact that he's already this physically gifted at just 18 years old shows just what could come. Defensively, he's going to take the Wizards to another level. He has an unreal 7'2" wingspan and uses every inch of it. On defense, he reminds me of a much taller DeAnthony Melton. His hands are extremely active, and he's always in perfect position to make a play on the ball. Him being 6'6" with those massive arms makes him versatile and able to defend multiple positions. As he builds his defensive identity, he and Denny Avdia could be a scary defensive duo. And many fans need to learn who Denny is. But the 6'9", 22-year-old is one of the best lockdown defenders in the league. He isn't the most athletic, but his mobility and defensive IQ are off the charts for someone being this young. His defensive versatility alongside Kolibali could be the beginning of something special. Offensively, he's still raw, but he's shown flashes of being able to attack closeouts and get easy buckets in transition. If he could increase his three-point percentage, that would be a huge step forward. He's already a good passer and playmaker, so when everything comes together for him, he could be an excellent two-way player who has has a major impact on winning. Now we gotta talk about Daniel Gafford. He's one of the most underrated big men in the league. And yes, he is now famously known for getting crossed by Kevin Durant. But when you put that to the side, you can see a lot of potential on both ends of the court. Offensively, while he isn't much of a scorer, he's a terrific above the rim lob threat. He already had some amazing alley-oop dunks last season. He's going to be most lethal with a talented playmaking guard. And yes, I know the Wizards have Tyus Jones and Monty Morris, but still, due to their age, they will most likely be traded before next season starts. So that leaves Washington without a true point guard. But Jones, Morris, and even Corey Kispert are excellent trade pieces who could get some decent players in return. On the defensive end, Gafford is an athletic rim protector who contests everything at the rim. He's a high energy and high effort type of rim protector. So while he might not be averaging 2 blocks per game like Brook Lopez or Jaren Jackson Jr., he's still strong, athletic, and great at going up vertically. The Wizards were 20th in points allowed in the paint, which isn't good, but it's not terrible either, especially given that Gafford was the only good defensive big on the roster, and it wasn't even close. Let's backtrack for a second though. I know there may be some who are a little confused about why the Wizards would trade 24-year-old Corey Kispert, and well, the reason for that is that the Wizards are trying to build a defensive identity, more specifically a versatile defensive team. He just doesn't fit that category at all, but he is a great shooter, so he will have some value on the trade market. Now, the one player on the Wizards roster who most fans have written off as a bust is about to prove everyone wrong. Johnny Davis was the 10th overall pick last year. After his reign of terror in college, many thought he would be an instant impact player. Unfortunately, he struggled with injuries and consistency. But people need to learn that toward the end of the season, he showed exactly why he was drafted top 10. When given more touches and opportunities, he averaged 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 2 assists per game in 32 minutes. The sample size was only 8 games, the final stretch of the Wizards season, but it showed his potential as a scorer. He credited that impressive stretch to his time in the G League. It helped me a lot. Just being down there with those guys, playing a bigger role that I probably wouldn't be playing with Bradley Beal, Kristaps Porzingis, Kyle Kuzma, and all of those guys. The coaches down there did an outstanding job of showing me film daily, ensuring I understood the pace of the game and developing the way I should. And, oh yeah, the kid plays defense. He is a tenacious on-ball defender with the build and physicality to defend taller and bigger players as well. He does a great job at fighting over screens and sticking to his man. And now we gotta talk about Kyle Kuzma, who is someone who will most likely be on another team next season. He's 27 years old with championship experience, and there will be a lot of teams trying to snatch him up. But I gotta say this, if the Wizards can find a way to keep Kyle Kuzma and Tyus Jones, that'll be very interesting. But even if they are moved, a young core of Jordan Poole, Deni Avdija, Bilal Kolibali, Daniel Gafford, and Johnny Davis has an extremely high ceiling together. Not to mention they also picked up Patrick Baldwin Jr. from the Warriors trade, so they are absolutely stacked with young talent. Many basketball fans, I would say, are sleeping on this team. Jordan Poole is an emerging star who has the chance to show the Golden State Warriors just what they're missing. But what do you think? Are people underestimating the Washington Wizards? Let us know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.